Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. I hope you're all doing well, and in this video we have a new tease for the Ahsoka Disney Plus show that's just around a month away. Let's go ahead and hop right on into it. In this video we are going to be taking a read from the Direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there, as well as a read. Disney Plus teases Ahsoka and Ezra Bridger's reunion in a new trailer clip. The Star Wars Rebels fans know there's a search for Ezra Bridger, and Ahsoka's latest Disney Plus trailer may have revealed how he's found. Back in 2018, Star Wars Rebels ended with Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren setting off to find the young Jedi, who had disappeared while taking Grand Admiral Thrawn out of the fight, as both Ezra Bridger and Thrawn would disappear into the unknown regions for seemingly the next 10 years, up until the point of when the Ahsoka show is taking place after the events of the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi, alongside with the Mandoverse. And so Ahsoka's Disney Plus show as a marketing campaign has revisited this same scene, as well as offered a glimpse of live-action Ezra, but now a new trailer footage has teased how Ahsoka could pull off the long-awaited reunion of Ezra Bridger and the rest of the Ghost crew. Earlier this year, The Mandalorian Season 3 had teased the presence of purrgils, which are whale-like creatures, space whales pretty much, who travel through hyperspace by showcasing their silhouettes traveling at hyperspeed. The first official trailer for Ahsoka then paid off this bit of foreshadowing by revealing the first full look at these creatures in live action. And so, on top of that, further trailer footage showed Ahsoka and Sabine in Ahsoka's T6 shuttle, hurtling straight towards the purrgil, followed by shots of blaster fire and another ship flying through its tentacles. And so, alongside with Lothcats, Lothwolves, and Puffer Pigs, Lucasfilm has introduced the whale-esque of purrgils through Star Wars Rebels, the animated show. I would highly recommend for you guys to check out Star Wars Rebels if you haven't already before the Ahsoka show, but it's not necessary. And so, according to the Star Wars lore, they're credited for inspiring the creation of hyperdrives and hyperspace navigation, including wayfinders, essentially saying that in canon, the way and the idea of these giant whale-like creatures, the purrgils, and the way that they travel through hyperspace and hyperspeed as a possibility inspired hyperspeed navigation and hyperspace navigation overall to normal people and other light creatures, alien creatures of course in Star Wars, and how ships are able to now travel through hyperspace essentially. So as he does with many creatures of a galaxy far away, Ezra Bridger has a force connection with purrgils, and during the events of Star Wars Rebels and its finale, he used this connection to destroy Thrawn's fleet, and take Thrawn out of the fight by both of them disappearing into the unknown regions. Where they've gone and where they've been in the years since though, however, is really kind of a mystery, and one that Ahsoka and Sabine are expected to solve in the Ahsoka show. They could have been lost in hyperspace on this ship for over 10 years to a point. Seems like a slim possibility, but what other things have they been up to is something that we're all looking forward to seeing unfold and tell in the Ahsoka show. However, since the purrgil are how Ezra was able to disappear in the first place, and because the creatures have inspired a form of navigation of hyperspace, it makes sense for Ahsoka and Sabine to use them to finally locate their friend, setting up their eventual reunion. And if the space battle ensuing around these sentient space whales is anything of an indication, they're probably not the only ones with that idea. It's also very likely that these trailer visuals are only the beginning of what fans will see of the live action of purrgils, considering they glow and jump to light speed like Star Wars ships. But this is a very, very likely idea at that. With every other Star Wars Disney Plus live action show that we've seen before, all of the trailer footage and marketing material is normally taken from the first 3 or so episodes out of an 8-episode run for a season. So that should go without saying that there's a lot to unfold and a lot that we haven't seen at that. While Ahsoka's marketing has hinted at the hunt for Ezra as the main focus, the main narrative of Ahsoka as an overall show, Star Wars fans don't know precisely when that search necessarily occurs throughout the show. It could be the entirety of the show, it could take a simple episode, half an episode, although I will say that it seems as though that's something that will be taking up a majority of the show. That's the main idea of what the Ahsoka show show is really for, also acting as a world-building, narrative, independent show for the overall Mandoverse, something that we did closely see with The Mandalorian Season 3, and yes, I have discussed this previously before here on the channel, of that the Mandoverse and the overall Star Wars galaxy is really quite massive. There's a lot of different moving parts and a lot of different stories to tell during this time period, and they were trying to force that through The Mandalorian, that show, and especially with what we had saw set up in Season 2, and of a lot of what we saw in Season 3. So seeing that quote-unquote soft reboot towards the end of The Mandalorian Season 3 is kind of a waving of the flag and a passing of the torch to giving that to Ahsoka as the world-building show, the show that's going to be dealing with 5 to 10 characters at any given moment that are all main characters at all of that, and that all have kind of their own stories, they're all narratives that they have to kind of focus on throughout. So that there for sure will be another very big and interesting thing to see throughout the Ahsoka show. So not only did Ezra and Thrawn disappear prior to the events of A New Hope, the original trilogy, while Ahsoka takes place around the events of The Mandalorian Season 3, just alongside it at that from a new recent tease, but the new series is expected to use a time jump at some point during its season, so potential flashbacks or flash forward is something that's heavily of an idea and a rumor that we've heard before. Ahsoka's interactions with Sabine have also teased a shared complex to history that audience have yet to see between these two characters since we've last seen them at the end of Star Wars Rebels. It's also worth noting that the series' antagonists, such as the late Ray Stevenson's Baylan Skoll, are also searching for Thrawn, who's disappeared with Ezra. So there is a little bit of a race against time going on there, assuming that Thrawn and Ezra Bridger would be together, as the two did go missing together. This complex history, though, that we've seen off screen, or haven't seen on screen necessarily, between Ahsoka and Sabine is something that I'm yet to dive deeper on into here on the channel in more detail and in more depth into those regards, but to kind of scrape the surface of that it seems that Sabine Wren has taken on this challenge of training to use a lightsaber in hopes of maybe one day retaking on the darksaber at some point, or just using Ezra Bridger's lightsaber as a handy tool when maybe needed in combat. I very much so highly doubt that she is force sensitive, so it's a very similar kind of situation to what maybe Grogu's doing with Mando, in the same time training to be a Mandalorian but also a Jedi. We're seeing vice versa here with Sabine, kind of a Mandalorian that's kind of training to be a Jedi without the Force. That's an interesting idea and something I want to talk about in a separate feature video here on the channel. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified for when that video comes out. We're also discussing all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel, so if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab the subscribe button if you haven't already. Anyway, to finish out here, what happens necessarily if Baylan Skoll and the remains of the Empire find Ezra Bridger first? Perhaps future trailers and marketing material will have more to reveal on the subject, of course, but in the meantime, the fact that Star Wars has shown creatures synonymous with Ezra Bridger's story in both The Mandalorian and this new footage points towards their presence and importance in Ahsoka, also considering that that's one of Ezra's main key Force abilities. The question now is how long into the season will fans have to wait to see more of the Purrgils and the Rebels' reunion with Ezra Bridger? The first 2 episodes of Ahsoka premiere on Wednesday, August 23rd, only on Disney+. Not soon enough, pretty much, guys. Of course, we're going to keep you updated with all things going on with Ahsoka and all Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns, as I had mentioned. All the more reason to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Guys, of course, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, guys. What do you want to see with Ahsoka and the overall show, the reunion of Ezra Bridger? I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out, guys.